And then when I'm watching the movie, I was like, man, I don't even know if he can get through this. I mean, he thought Sin City was bad. I don't know what he's going to think of this film. I mean, I do know what he's going to think of the movie, but I don't know if he'll get through it. You know, if he got 40 minutes of Sin City, I'll be happy if he can just get past 10 minutes of this movie. So, you know, that's the goal here. So, again, I assume that you saw it, the whole thing.
Let me read for everybody. Lavalantula, 2015. Volcanic eruptions in Los Angeles unleash a swarm of gigantic lava-breathing tarantulas. That is it. They don't go into any more. That is it. That is it.
And it promises what it's selling here. And it is. I'll say this right now. I like the movie. It's not great. It's not something that I think I would go back and revisit on a consistent basis. But if I was at your home, if you're at my home, I said, Lord, we're going to watch Lavalantula. That would be the time for me to share that with somebody, because I thought this was a fun film to watch with a group of friends. As cheesy as it sounds, but I really, really wish I saw that with somebody else, because no one in my family wanted to see. I tried to get my son to watch it with me. He's like, fuck this. And I was like, well, I'm going to watch Lavalantula to my wife. And she's like, all right. And then walked away. And I was like, all right. And I tried to get my dogs, and he was falling asleep. So I was alone in the whole process here. So I hope that you would watch it, and so that way we can have a legitimate conversation about it.
Yeah.
So
okay, let's go backwards.
Okay.
Let's go backwards. How do you rate this? Let's get everybody what they want right up front. How do you rank this? How do you rate it? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
In terms of cheesy entertainment, I give this a major thumbs up. It's just schlockiness. It's just fun silliness. But if I was, but the movie critic in me, I've seen better and I've seen a lot worse. So you know, I mean, I'm like, they're not making any, they're not misleading the people as far as what the film is, and I appreciate that. So. Yep. You know what you're walking into, and if you expected Citizen Kane, then you're an idiot. That's the way I see it.
Yes, I will go thumbs up for it being a movie. It had a beginning, it had a middle, it had an end, it had a cast, it had sound. All of the things that make it a movie. It's a movie. Thumbs up. Good job, guys.
I think that's the best review I've ever heard. It's a movie. I give it thumbs up for being a movie. Wow.
Yeah. I will say it's Steve Guttenberg,
right?
From Police Academy, and he brought all of the Police Academy crew with him. Mike Winslow,
Marion Ramsey.
And she was the one that just passed, right?
I believe she did, yeah. And then Leslie Easterbrook.
Yeah, she just passed. And then you had Nia Peoples.
Yeah.
Which she wasn't a Police Academy, but always beautiful, right? Yes, childhood crush. They did have Leslie Easterbrook, who was that bombshell in Police Academy. For some reason, I thought she was Russian. I thought she was just gonna have the thick Russian accent, which, like, in actual life, beautiful. It was great to see her. And then there's another person you'd recognize, Patrick Renouf from Sandlot.
Yep. And then we also have like Carlos Bernard, who I was like, I know that guy from somewhere, and I realized, oh shit, he was in 24. So that's where I remember him from. And then we also have Ralph Garman, who's done a ton of stuff here, especially with Kevin Smith, as he hosts a podcast with him. And then Danny Woodburn, who is an actor that don't see often. And I don't know if people know this here, but he actually played Splinter in the two latest Ninja Turtle movies. He wasn't the voice, but he played Splinter. Yeah, I don't know why I threw it in there, but I just thought that would be something that people would appreciate. Whoever cares for that movie, for those two films, I should say.
There were a plethora of Easter egg meta jokes, which I think was worth the price of admission, right? Because it wasn't all up front. It wasn't all loaded up front. It was like peppered. There's all these little meta jokes, which was great. I will say I am upset. The thing that bothers me the most, two things that bother me the most about the movie. They're not actually they're not lava breathing. They're just fire breathing. That's it. There's no lava. They don't lava anything. They come out of lava, but they're not lava breathing anything. First and foremost.
Okay.
And second of all, I'm watching them drive through LA, and none of these places make sense how they got from one place to the other.
I wanted to ask you about that. Yeah. I was curious about the logistics behind all this here. I was like, I don't know. Is this even possible? Because I was two things. I was curious if you recognize a lot of which I'm sure you did. And then secondly, how far apart were each of these locations were at, if you with where they're starting from, where where they were going to, and where they ended up at? Like, was it all within a reasonable distance of each other? Okay.
No. And what's funny is they just didn't care about stock footage, where they were just like, they're on the freeway and they show you like West LA. Yeah. And then the volcano blows up that wasn't there a minute before, looking at the same view. And I was like, oh, you guys didn't even
try.
Didn't even try.
I thought this was actually an asylum movie because it has all the same traits that the asylum films are known for, the Sharknado movies and whatnot. So I don't know if this is going to be a compliment, but I thought it was just as good as an asylum movie where we all knew what it was for. We all know what it is. So there was a charm that the movie had that I really liked. I talked before, it's silly, but you could tell that the actors were, at least as far as I could tell, were having fun with it. I mean, there's even a reference to Sharknado when they had Ian Ziering in there, and he's making a joke like, I got a shark problem, and he runs away. And I was like, oh shit, they obviously are in on the joke as well too.
Right.
So again, there's that self-awareness I thought was really I thought really worked well for the movie, because they're not taking it too serious. And you point out like the flaws. They're lavalantulas, but there's no lava coming out. They're breathing out fire, and so I expected those things, and I didn't have a problem with it, honestly, because I love shitty movies. This is a guy that loves. We talked about it before at one point. If you look at my top 10, like the first 4 or 5 films are like serious, straightforward dramas, like quality stuff, and then like the second half is like some of the most like waste of time movies that people will see, at least from their perspective, think that's it's not even worthy to be considered cinema. I beg to differ. So my taste is all over the place with this stuff. So when you said you wanted to see it, I was like, I'm down, because this is my cup of tea. I love this stuff. Like, I genuinely do love it. But yeah, man, I honestly, I don't have any problems with the movie. I really did not. I thought for what it was perfect.
I think, yes, they were not under any delusions that this was going to be anything other than a volcanic eruption in Los Angeles unleashed a swarm of gigantic lava-breathing tarantulas. Like that, they knew it. I think the only person that was really acting was maybe the kid that played his son, and he was the only one really trying to act like.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. He was the one character I didn't like. He was the least interesting character.
Because he was actually trying to act. Like he had motivation. He had like backstory.
Yeah, you're right. What did you think of Gutenberg in this movie? Because Gutenberg is one of those guys. I forgot how. This movie in my opinion, doesn't show that, but I forget how good of an actor he really is. Like, he's actually legitimately very, very good actor when you really look at his filmography. But in this movie, it's quite obvious that he's willing to take the risk of making himself look silly in a movie that people may not take seriously, but he's having fun with it. So to me, this shows me a lot about the man, and in this role that he's playing. I think he's very self-aware and pokes fun at himself, and is having fun with what he was doing there. So I got that he had a blast when making this film. I'm assuming it probably took 2 weeks to make the movie, because it seems like they shot it all within like a span of like 4 blocks, if you will, and got it done before the weekend was released. So that's what it felt like to me.
Other than the police academy movies, I don't really know what he was in.
He was in Billions, I think.
Oh, I've seen him like pop up in cameos playing himself, like, we got to go to Steve Gutenberg's house, and you're like, okay, that's Steve Gutenberg. so they make this reference. So in that movie, Colt West, who's played by Steve Guttenberg, is his claim to fame is Red Rocket, which is hilarious.
Kind of remind me of Turbo Man. I don't know why I thought of that when I saw that suit.
You know Red Rocket, South Park, Red Rocket, Red Rocket.
I don't remember that one. No,
it's a dog boner basically. Anyways, so so Colt West is a character. Colt West is a character, is an actor who, like 10, 20 years before the movie, was an actor known for his portrayal of Red Rocket, which was like a superhero movie in that universe. I really think that it would have been hilarious if they just took some police academy footage and they're like from police training day and
that's
just
so
made those
funny. Yeah,
because it was all there. It was all there. And they could have just meta police academy the whole way through.
Yeah, you know what? That would have been an interesting approach for that. Oh, you know who I want to point out here too? I don't know if you I don't know how well you know certain directors, but the director in the beginning of the movie, did you recognize him at all? Who was
Yes,
directing
but
Colt in the beginning of the film? Did he look familiar to you?
yes, but I just didn't know. Like, I just assumed he was in stuff that I just didn't recognize him.
Well, he's been in movies. I'm sure if you are familiar with the franchises and you may have seen them, you may recognize his face, which is probably why you thought he looked familiar. But that's Lee Winnell, the director of the latest Invisible Man. He had wrote the first 3 Saw movies and had also produced them as well too. He was that guy in the first film that was in the tub that ended up getting left behind in that, I don't know, that warehouse room or the freezer room, whatever it was. He was also Insidious 1, 2, and 3 and 4, I believe. And what else? What else? He had. I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff. Oh, he was in some this. I don't know if you're going to be into watching this here, but I was highly suggest if you get to watch this movie called The Mule, not the Clint Eastwood one, The Mule, which is an Australian movie in which he plays, because he's Australian, and he plays a character where there is somebody who is trafficking drugs and having cocaine in their stomach from Thailand to Australia. You've got to watch that movie. I would be extremely curious to see what you think of that film. But anyways, I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but that was Lee Winnell. And again, I was so surprised to see him in a movie like this as well, too. So, I mean, again, like, it seems like Hollywood is fully aware of the this whole preconceived notion. And they're like, fuck it, let's just make fun of ourselves. This movie was a lot of fun because to me, I feel like those guys were just, they're having a blast with it. At least what it looked like to me.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell that, like, again, nobody was taking it seriously, and that's the beauty of it versus like, Tara Reid and Sharknado, when you're like, fucking relax, take it easy.
Yeah.
The fact that it was all meta jokes, just all like, if you're not watching and you're not paying attention, like, it just seems like a schlocky movie. But the jokes are well written, they're well placed, they're well hidden. I mean, complete story arc. It's a complete hero's journey. Like, apparently he got into a fight before the movie started, and he's on the downward fall, and then becomes a hero. Of course, he saves the day. Like, there isn't anything. There's no surprises. It's exactly what it is all the way through the movie.
Let me ask you. So watching the movie, having selected this here, I was curious. I don't know if I asked you this before. What was it about this movie that made you pick out of all the other choices that you had considered for us to watch for this review? What was it about this movie that stuck out for you?
I mean, the cover art, the thumbnail, it was horrible. It was freaking horrible. Like, it looked epic, but it also looked like whatever the new version of MS Paint was. Like, that's like, I don't even think the poster art was rasterized. Like, it just was. And then like, it's the combination, right? You take something that's a problem, and you take a natural disaster, Sharknado, Lavalantula. Like, you just hammer them together. How could this be a good movie? How?
What do you think would have been could have made the film? I want to say make it better, but what do you think could have taken the film to new heights as far as like uh make it more fun for you? Like what would have been that icing on the cake for you?
So the visuals were kind of hard.
Yeah, same for
Like,
me. Yeah.
and again, they go, "Hey, Steve, we got like $12 for CGI budget," and then he goes, $12 a scene. He goes, "No, $12 total," and he goes, "Okay, well, fuck it, let's go." Uh, I think that was it. Just the visuals, the breaking of the ground, like all
Yeah.
of the things was kind of hard to watch. But if you could just get beyond the actual visual of it all, it was a fun, campy little silly movie for an hour and a half.
So a movie like this, how much do you think would have cost, and how many days do you think it took to shoot a movie like this?
I would say like a month, probably a month from filming altogether, all in, pickup shots.
Oh, okay.
I will say, I mean, $1 million. That'd
You
be
think
my
it's $1
thought.
million that movie?
It's a lot of CGI. I mean, not good
Mm.
CGI, but it's
No,
a lot of
I don't
CGI.
think $1 million. I honestly, I would probably look at it. I'm looking at that movie. I seriously think maybe on a really, really good day, 500,000. I
Oh
really
God,
believe that's how much it costs to make the movie. That's just a
budget.
wild guess, because because if you think about it, you say a month. I don't know if they even had a month to shoot this year. I didn't do any research on it, so I'm throwing guesses out here. But if I were to be a betting man, honestly, maybe on a really really with the budget they may have had here, let's say 500,000, maybe a week, 2 weeks at most, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because there were a lot of the
And
same
I think
sets.
and I think Ian Ziering took most of the budget, considering his star power with Sharknado.
Hey, how does the guy that has one line have the entire budget?
Have you ever seen
Uh,
Sharknado? That's why.
oh, that's interesting. Financial information. Hold on, I'm trying to find
Oh,
Lavalantula
you able to
financial.
find it? Oh wow.
I'm
Okay.
I was looking for it, but
Oh my god. I'm
apparently
at,
it's not.
if it's not available.
It's not available.
Oh, okay. Well, but you think $1 million in a month worth of shooting? That I think is
Yeah.
excessive for a film like this. I'm not saying it's impossible,
Okay.
but I just don't think it's.
Uh,
I don't think it's a
it's
month.
it, I think it's every movie that's made with some level of distribution is going to be about 500,000, and
Mhm.
then you add the cameos and the CGI, and it was shot was shot in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard. That is for sure. And you could tell because it wasn't actually on. It was like one block off. It was like off a side street. That's where
Mhm.
everything was.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say somewhere above north of 750 and just short of 1 million. That would be my guess.
Okay. Do you, someone, there was an actor I've talked to who told me that filming in Los Angeles, is very, very difficult at times, because even if you have permits, sometimes the cops will shut you down, especially if you have like
Yep.
an independent production. You can have everything in order, but they may just shut you down for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they would have this movie would have the same problem too, considering its star power, if you will? I mean, I say that with course, I don't mean to be rude when I say that, but you think they would have
Yeah.
had that experience too?
Yeah, I think I mean you could tell that they shot like early in the morning.
Okay.
Like well, I can, just from where the shadows are and the way it's hitting, it looks like it's just the light. It looks like they
Right,
shot
right.
like crack of dawn,
Okay.
which a Hollywood Boulevard, if you are ever wanting to go with no traffic or little to no traffic and little to no foot traffic, like first thing in the morning before like 10 o'clock in the morning, you could walk around no problem.
Okay. So you gave your overall thoughts in the beginning of the movie. Have you only seen the movie once, or did you see it more than once? I saw it twice.
I only saw it once. And that's why I'm not actually picking out my favorite meta jokes, because I was like, oh, that's funny. That's funny. And then like by the end of it, was like, I should have wrote it down. Okay, let me just
Don't worry, I didn't write anything down. I just watched it and enjoyed it for what it was. I just wanted my brain to be like scrambled in the whole process, and then and not be concerned about the consequences.
So
Um,
it looks like the Lavalantula, they put about $20,000 worth of visual effects.
$20,000 worth of visual effects.
Yeah,
That's
which is a lot, which is a
quality.
lot lower than I thought. A lot
Okay.
lower.
Okay.
Especially in 2015.
Right.
But it doesn't. I can't seem to find an actual budget.
So I mean, think about it: $20,000 for visual effects. That's just visual effects alone. Considering the locations where they shot it at, the amount of time they may have had, I think it's really it was costing about $500,000 for that movie to be shot.
Okay, I think like if 500,000 was the money line, I'm betting the over. Not by much, but over.
Yeah, you may be right. I'm not denying that, but I don't think it's $1 million. I think it's halfway there, maybe a little bit closer, but definitely under $1 million. That would be my betting line there.
I'm going to find next time we talk. I'm going to try to dig that up between now and next time we talk. So
call SAG. Hey, how much did it cost to make? He's like, there wasn't a SAG production. Oh, okay, never mind.
Hey, Steve, I know I haven't talked to you in a while. Quick question, just randomly. I know you're at dinner. It's fine.
Yeah.
Stock.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't really have anything else I can add on to this year because I pretty much said what I wanted to say there. But
there is. So I guess my question before we kind of put a button on this is to Lantula. Are you gonna dedicate time to that?
Okay, I'll be honest with you. Only if it's available for free. Because I was actually trying to look for it because I literally after I saw this movie, it's got to be a second one because they definitely made that joke at the end. I'm looking for it and I was like, oh, I have to rent it. I'll wait.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
Now I like them.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I'm not saying that I am against it. I would, but if it's free, I'll watch it. If it's on Amazon and it's free with ads, shit, I'll watch it. I don't give a shit. If it's on Tubi, I'll watch it on there too.
I think you have to watch it with commercials just because you got to get that direct to TV feel. Like you gotta have.
It actually did work in the favor of because I think what the movie's like, I don't know, an hour 20 minutes, something like that, and then with commercials, maybe an hour 30, something like that. I actually, I'll be honest, whenever it was on commercial, I just got up and walked away, came on back, and that's so. It's something about these type of movies for me. Watching with commercials, I don't know why it's more enjoyable for me. It sounds ridiculous, but it's true. I actually like watching them with commercials, and I don't know why. I think it maybe has to do with the fact that it's just too silly for me that I would like a break from it.
Yeah.
I enjoy these movies, but not to the point where I'm like a hardcore fans. But I am a fan, but nowhere near like, I am not the niche audience for this here.
Right.
I can enjoy a good film.
I think the commercials break it up to where it's like an aperitif where you got to cleanse the palate and you go, okay, hold on, give me 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we? La Brea Tar Pits. Okay,
yeah.
Continue to tell me this story.
I will say though that watching the movie though, it got me curious and and looking at Los Angeles in a different perspective because it's all close shots, but you can see like the little areas that they're in, and I'm always curious. Because I don't know, I've never been to Los Angeles. So when I look at it, there's something about the way that they portray Los Angeles to look like that really got me curious about it. Because there's the house that Steve Gutenberg's character lives in is like out on the mountaintop somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, how does he get from the traffic? Getting away from the traffic into the mountains. And you brought that up earlier. But it's intriguing for me to see that. Oh, they have this in Los Angeles. I didn't know that. Like the little things like that, I found interesting for me.
So, okay, now a little inside baseball about LA, like where he lived I guess they're trying to portray he lived on the hill, like on Hollywood Hill because he's an actor or whatever. But that little dirt road is like, it's not, I don't know where that is. I don't know if that's like, is it just like a road that they found that they could get a permit, they could shut it down, but it's not a residential area for sure. It
so
looks
like State Park almost, you think?
yeah, like State Park or going up to Griffith Park or somewhere. I don't even know it's on the hill. It's not where people live. Let's say.
But what about his house though? Like, is that in the same areas as far as the Hollywood Hills is
I
concerned?
couldn't tell because it was mostly interiors. I didn't really see the exterior. If you look at it, you don't really see the exterior of the house.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You just see the interior of the house and then the road that he lives on, which is again, I want to say it's like a road on Griffith Park somewhere.
Okay.
And then when he steals the bus, it looks like he's so he's on the freeway. That's the 405, and it's overlooking from the valley, overlooking West Hollywood.
Let me
West
stop
LA.
you right there.
Sure.
Does the traffic in 405, is it really that bad?
It is that bad. It is
Really?
always that bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we have a joke in LA where if you are in Hollywood, which where I live, where they shot right down the street from where they shot the exteriors there. If you met a girl at a bar and you're like, oh, where do you live? And she's like, oh, Santa Monica. And you're like, well, God bless you. Like, it was nice knowing you. Like, I'm not ever going there ever. In the 405, the freeway that they were on basically split like Hollywood and like West West LA. So it's Santa Monica's out that way. It was like that all hours of the day.
Really? It's night, day, weekend, weekday, holidays, it's all like that all the time. What's the average so if you're going from, let's say, one exit to the next, we're in that part of the area, what's the average time you'd be waiting there before you get to that exit? How long would the wait time be? Because in Northern Virginia, you know the Northern Virginia area or Southern Maryland, that whole metropolitan traffic sucks out there. I've heard LA is a lot worse.
The problem with LA is that nobody wants to get off onto surface streets, and you can. It's gridded. You can just get off the next exit, but everybody wants to take the exit that they're supposed to take, right? The most direct route. Where in Virginia, the DMV, it's like the exits are far and few, and you just can't get off the next one and find your way home. It's impossible. They don't connect.
Yeah, you got a point.
But LA, the LA, the exits are closer and they're a lot more. So it might only be a mile between exits.
Damn. Yeah. I don't know if I could ever do that. I don't know. I've heard some really bad stories about the traffic in LA. It's just unbelievable. It's like it's unbearable to some. And I'm like, why do people still go out? I mean, I understand why, but I mean, like, it's just, I don't know, that cluster. Oh God, I get like furious, not furious. Just annoyed thinking about it.
Yep.
Being in that.
And this is for all the fans. Everyone ever need a tip on how to plan a LA vacation. What you do is you make a list of all the things you want to do, right? Make that list, put them on the map, and then just circle the little clusters. And you go, this is going to be one day. This is going to be another day. Because if you try to go all around town, you're never going to make it. You're going to scratch 2 things off the list. And then
if you're lucky,
you're never going to get there. So if you're one little pocket and then you go home, and then because even driving around in little pockets is going to take you all day. So you go, I want to try this restaurant. I want to try this. Great. Put it on the map. Circle the 3 things that are close to each other. That's what you're doing on one day.
When you think about LA now, because I know you said in a previous conversation we had with our True Romance review that you miss times of LA that you've had there, elements of it. But when you reflect on the traffic, do you think, man, thank the fuck Christ, am I out of this place here because traffic is unbearable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because you never knew. Like what should take you 20 minutes could take you 40 minutes, could take you an hour. It could take you, or it could, you just never know. I always was like, you got to if you are on the other side of the 405, you have to be back, before noon, before 1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, just add 2 hours to your day that you're never going to get back.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I miss the times there. I don't miss living there.
But when you go back, though, I assume that you look forward to it. Is that kind of a fair assessment to make?
Yeah, because if I got shows out there, I'll go like, oh, the show is right here. I'm gonna do the little things that are nostalgic to me that are in that area. I'm not driving all around because you just don't have the time.
Mm.
Um, and LA is a city of pockets, and that's really it. If you're not, if you want to do something outside of the pocket you're in,
Right.
God bless you. Like,
Let me ask you. So in Lavalantula, when the way they look, because this was something before, I look at LA in that movie, and it looks so unique to me. Like there's something about the way that film showed LA. It didn't give it like you look at we're talking about True Romance, and when they're in LA, there's a color palette change, and it seems so like epic in a lot of ways. This movie seems a little more tighter, but it still had that look of LA that I still found interesting. So
mhm.
when you look at that movie, did it do it justice as far as giving it the look of LA or showing how LA
Yeah,
looks like from
yes.
from the angles that they picked at? Okay.
Yeah, so they definitely shot on Hollywood Boulevard or just off the street off of it because I mean you can't really fake it. There are movie sets that make it look like Hollywood Boulevard, but because they shot on the off streets, just lets you know that they actually shot there versus like actually on the
Mm.
street. And then where he picks up the bus was that back road that I don't know where is.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah.
next time you see the bus, it's like Beverly Hills-ish, Bel Air-ish.
Okay.
And then it was on Hollywood Boulevard, which during day traffic would take you half hour, 45 minutes at best.
Mm.
At best.
Okay.
And I can definitely say that I lived from where the bus was in Hollywood. Like I live 4 or 5 blocks just east of there. So I'm very familiar with the restaurants and all the shops in that area.
Mm.
It definitely wasn't a set there for sure.
Okay. All right, cool. So it's funny how we started talking about Lavalantula, and here we are talking about LA traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's whenever you talk about LA, you just I mean, fucking
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's weird for me though that I don't really necessarily. This is coming from a guy that loves the history of Hollywood. I don't never really felt compelled to really go out there. I mean, I would like to. Don't get me wrong. I would love to visit out there just to see what it's like. But I don't know. I don't feel compelled to really want to make that as a top of the list destination, if you will. Like there are other places I'd rather go before I go to LA.
It's and I paint it badly, but it's not a bad place to visit. It's
Mhm.
expensive,
Yeah.
and you're going to be spending 99% of your time in a car. But you know, you are a movie guy. There's so many movies that are shot where, like True Romance, the
Mhm.
Safari Motor Motel Inn. Safari Motel.
that's a cool little spot in that Burbank area. The Warner Brothers Studios there. You can see Bob's Big Boy, which is in a lot of movies. There's a lot of things to see, especially if you're a big movie guy.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, I've been told that too. People, I've had a lot of people gone out to LA. My mom, my sister, they were like, "Yeah, you'll love it out there. You'll be right at home." And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I just don't know."
I don't think you'd be right at home. I think
Mm.
that if you did the tourist thing and just go, hey, these
Yeah, see, I'm not even into that though. I wouldn't go to like go on the what's it called those they call those fucking buses the
double
tour
deckers.
yeah the double deckers. Thank you. I don't even think I see. I have no. If I were to go to LA, honestly, I would want to sleep in someone's home and see what the everyday life is like in
Yeah,
LA, like
yeah.
not Hollywood, like everyday LA life or everyday Orange County life. That's more interesting to me than I would love to see where they shot Safari Motel Inn, but if there's a nice burger on the way to that, I probably would stop at the burger joint before I get to the Safari Motel Inn. That's how I look at it.
LA is full of great places to eat. There
Yeah,
is
so I heard.
probably not a better single place to eat food from all the varieties, all the genres, all of the price points um,
In LA.
in LA. And I guess it depends on how you consider LA, but like the best Chinese food, 20, 30 minutes out, maybe an hour out. And
Mhm.
then, Armenian food is great in Glendale. Like whatever you're into, you can get a phenomenal plate out there, whatever you're into. So
Yeah.
yeah, Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, it's expensive, and it's for you. I would say, yeah, you just figure out what landmarks you want to go see. You catch a movie at the Chinese theater, the Man's Chinese Theater, or the.
I want to go there. That I would go check out.
It's not far from the Egyptian theater either. It's literally like 2 or 3 blocks away. Yeah, it's that Hollywood strip is pretty iconic, but it's a few hour thing. Like you're there for a few hours and you're like, great, I don't need to come back here.
Yeah, I want to go visit there, but it's not my top 10 to sites to go to.
Where is your top 10?
So I would love. It's gonna sound strange, but believe it or not, there's a country that I want to go visit. I don't know if it's considered as a top destination, but I want to go visit Albania.
That's
I want to
dope.
go. Yeah, I want to go visit Albania. I want to go visit Bulgaria. I would love to go to London, but not do the tourist thing. I would like go to a legit pub, watch my favorite fucking team in the world, Chelsea FC. I would go to London and watch a game at Stamford Bridge. I say this every time I ever mention Chelsea, if I can, that when I die, I want my son to cremate me, dye my ashes in blue, take my ashes to Stamford Bridge, and throw my ashes on the pitch. That would be a goal. I told him, if you can't do that, just flush my ashes down the toilet because it's not worth it at that point. So,
wow,
that's how much I love the team.
Wow.
I love that team so fucking much. Like I really, really do. And here's the thing: I keep up with the sport, but I don't necessarily invest in as much as I used to. But I keep up with enough to know what's going on, so I know who's winning, who's losing. Well, Chelsea sitting in the table, the Champions League, groups in the round. I keep up with all that, but I don't necessarily know every single player. I know the top ones. So I'm invested, but halfway in, halfway out. But if I were ever to go to London, man, I would go all out. I'd probably cry just by sitting in the stands. Oh man, there's so many emotions behind that because I love this team so much. But yeah, so I went off on a tangent. So London, I would go to. What else?
No, that's great because I think being in London and not doing the tour, like doing a little bit of the tour stuff, I do enjoy London as a city, as like a place to live. Hollywood it's a weird lifestyle. I think London just gives you that more of like everyone works 9 to 5 and everybody kind of just it's more of a monoculture, which LA is not. Like LA, you'll go into a Starbucks in the middle of the day and it's packed. You go to a restaurant, packed. Like everything is packed. You're like, everyone is always like, when did anyone work here? Like, why is everything packed all day, every day?
Yeah.
London was like, you could tell 9 to 5. Everything seemed to make sense. And then after 5, everyone was out after, at the pubs.
So there's a little more structure out there when it comes to
structured.
Okay. Yeah, I like that too. So what was it? So London. What else? I want to go to. Love to go to Italy, but again, if I go to Italy, it would not. I wouldn't want to visit the main tourist attraction. I mean, I would love to go to the Colosseum. I'm gonna deny it. I would love to go there, mainly because they shot. Bruce Lee shot Way of the Dragon out there. I want to see where they shot that scene where he killed Chuck Norris. What else? I would love to visit New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand is my list. Yeah,
New Zealand. What else? Canada. I've been to Canada once, but
where'd you go in Canada?
So it's a long story. We ended up in the French side of Canada, which is Quebec, right?
Yep, Quebec.
So we went there because my dad took the wrong directions, and then we were trying to get to Niagara Falls, which was like in the total opposite side. So we were in Virginia trying to get to Canada, which is straight up north. Got to go through Buffalo and all that, and somehow he went in that direction. I remember seeing what these French signs. I was like, why is this in French? I had no idea Canada as a kid French was a second another language out there for Canada. So I'm hearing French music and French radio, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
It's just Quebec. I mean,
right.
It nationally, it is recognized as a second national language, but in Quebec is the only place that actually speaks French as like they speak more French than English.
Right.
So you have Montreal, predominantly the state that Montreal is found, which is also 9 hours away from Niagara Falls, 9 hours away from Toronto.
Right. And so that's the part that was like, it was a short trip. And how we ended up getting to Niagara Falls is beyond me because I don't know how we did it. And that's a whole different story in its own. But when we got there, it was literally like 4 hours, and we're like, let's get back in the car and go back to Virginia. Like, whoa, oh my god, yeah, dude.
Jesus,
And
fuck.
then my dad was like, now you can tell everyone you went to Canada. I was like, yeah, thanks. So
Fuck.
yeah,
Because when we drove from DC, we drove to DC to Toronto, and then we also drove from DC to Montreal. And then
how many
Montreal to
hours was
Boston.
Montreal to from DC? 10 hours.
Yeah, I think they were all like 10 hours, 10
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
But to turn around and just go, okay, great guys, 4 hours,
Oh,
good so
dude.
much. Oh my
You don't
god.
have no idea what I was going through in my head. And like I said, my dad was like, well, you can tell everyone you went to Canada, and you can tell what the trip was like. Man, it was a fucking waste of time, because I took it for granted, because to me, Niagara Falls was just like a foreign America. It looked exactly like America. It's just not America. That's how I looked at it. So I'm not saying it didn't leave a good impression on me, but the trip to Niagara Falls was not that enjoyable.
So you did get that. You went to Quebec and then drove from Quebec.
Yeah, I don't know where exactly we were at, but we were definitely in the French side of Canada. That I know for sure. There was French signs everywhere. Even the guy at the border is like, my dad was. Oh no, he was asking, are you here for business or vacation? He saw the family. He's when my dad's like, vacation. He's like, oh, okay, where are you heading to? And my dad's like, oh, we want to go to Niagara Falls. He's like, Niagara Falls. Like, yeah, I was like, that's like 300 miles down that way. He's like, what? The lady told me to go this way over here. He's like, I'm sorry, sir, but no, you have to go down that direction and get. And then the guy's like, there's a lush woods over here, and you can look at the stuff. And my dad's like, no, we want to go to Niagara Falls. I was like, man, I'd rather check this shit out right now, because I want to get the fuck out of the car. And man, it was like another. Oh Christ, man, that was.
Yeah, it's like another 10 hours.
I don't know how long. I honestly don't remember the length of time, but I just remember zoning out of it. I was just like, if you want to talk about, if I was in my Zen mode, that was it right there. I think it was the only time I've ever experienced it, because I was like, I'm in my moment. I'm in, that was like that, I don't believe in prayer anymore now, but that moment I was praying, all right, God, please help me. No. It's like, I was like in that moment.
It's funny, when I drove, we used to go from Boston to Montreal is 4 hours, and you can drink at 19. So 18 and a half, we're up there getting fucked up. Because especially in Montreal, when it was back in the day, there was like a lot of strip clubs on St. Catherine Street. It was like one street, all of the strip clubs were there. And they have a C bar rule. If you could see over the bar, they'd serve you. Like, fucking good kid. Hey.
Really?
So it would be like a 19-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old, a group of us, and we'd all be there getting fucked up at 17.
Wow. Up in Canada, huh?
And yeah, it was so funny, because when we drove there last, they're so nice. The Canadian is so nice. They're like, hey, like I seriously thought she was hitting on me. Hey, how are you? Like, I'm good. Like, where you going? And like, to Canada. They're like, just like, they were so nice. On the way back, they're like, is this your car? Yes, it's my car. Who owns it? Me. They're like, did you drive here? Like, I'm in my car now. Of course I drove here. I'm here.
Yeah,
and they're like,
that. Yeah,
they just gave me so many questions roundabout, and you're like, I own the car. It's registered to me. I drove it. I'm driving it.
Yeah, I think I remember that too, because I liken it to someone who's like saying, who like, it's like you being invited to their home, and then you're like, have a good time, here's some food, walk around wherever you want, enjoy yourself, and then all of a sudden you're done. You're like, all right, guys, hey, thanks for dinner. It was really fantastic. I thank you for the hospitality. Okay, which room did you go to? Well, I went to the room upstairs. I was like, can I check your pockets, because I want to make sure you didn't take anything? Are you fucking serious? I was with you the entire time. I don't know, because I turned my back on you once. So I don't know what you're capable of doing for that once. Like that's, I remember that experience with Canada when we were leaving, how
we go in the car.
Yeah.
Sorry. We froze, but it was like, it's not even the host country asking if I stole anything. It was like, we get in the car and the wife's like, did you steal anything? Yeah. I didn't see the whole time. Like, well, what?
Yeah.
I'm American.
Yeah. I remember that. And now when you mentioned that, I do remember that distinctly. I remember Dad getting a little pissed off about this. Man, they asked me fucking questions. I was like, well, I didn't. I was like, I don't know, 10 or I can't remember how old I was at that time, but yeah, I remember that distinctly. Yeah, Canada, man, I would love to go back to Canada, and this time be. I would go to Quebec. I think I would go there. Something about that seems more appealing to me than the Toronto side of it. I did want to go to Calgary because my favorite wrestler of all time, Bret the Hitman Hart, is
Hitman
from
Hart.
there. Yeah, so you know, right? So
Yeah,
I want to go out there. I think he still lives out there. Not that I'm going to follow him, but it's just that I want to go there and see that history of the family and where they've been at. That is something I would do, and I'm sure I'll run into people like, oh yeah, I know Brett. He's a really great guy, you know, like something like that Canadian.
He was
accent.
just here.
Yeah, he was just here the other day. Yeah, fuck it. Hey, call Brett over here. You know,
They got some child name called Brady.
yeah, call Brett over here. Yeah, we'll call him over here. Fuck it, you know, yeah. So yeah, I want to be in that environment to see what life was like for him growing up, which he's talked about on more than one occasion. But like, to really be there, like, he's such a huge part of my childhood. That like I really admired what he had done in the wrestling business. Like, he's not like the marquee guy. Well, he is the marquee guy. But like, if you look at The Rock. Some people will probably remember The Rock more than they would Bret Hart, but in my opinion, Bret Hart was like the guy that probably wouldn't have been successful considering his personality, but he was so good at what he did that his action was far superior than his gimmick, if you will.
Right.
So,
in my opinion, he's probably the best there is.
Everybody in that goddamn dressing room knows that I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
In my opinion.
yeah, I would get that tattooed on as well too. That's how much I love the guy. So yeah, I would want to go to that part of Canada as well too. That's primarily Quebec. Yeah,
that is like Calgary is the middle. That's cowboy country.
Yeah,
like
that's what I heard.
One of the biggest rodeos in North America takes place in Calgary. It's called the Stampede. Really? Or is it the Edmonton Stampede? It's Edmonton. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would go there too.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's like 5 cities. That's it. You have Montreal, you have Quebec. Oh, sorry, yeah. Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. Everything else is like,
and
it's
Ottawa too.
Relax.
Ottawa is the capital of Canada.
Fucking relax. If you've been there, you're like, oh yeah, this is the capital. Okay.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I would go there. What else? It's not a country. It's gonna sound stupid, but I would actually want to go to Alaska. I'll probably go to Alaska before I go to LA.
Okay.
I would probably go there first. Something about I'm not a wilderness type of guy, but something about Alaska really, really attracts me. And I just want to go visit to see what it's like and then leave.
Yeah. I don't know. I heard summers are rough.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Because depending on where you are, but and then of course winters are obviously rough. I would have to get paid a solid amount of money to do comedy out there.
Yeah,
a solid amount.
I can see that. Yeah,
but Canada, like I've had offers to go. I've done shows in Montreal, Toronto. I've had offers in Vancouver and Edmonton. I just haven't gotten around.
The comedy scene in Canada, man. You know what? I didn't realize as a kid growing up, like I didn't realize how many comedians and actors that I've admired in as far as the comedy scene is concerned that are from Canada. Obviously Jim Carrey being a big example of that. Rick Moranis, who's like an icon. And you have the Second City guys too, Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy. Who else was in it? People's names escape me right now.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, so like guys like that. You have obviously John Candy. Just a list of other comedian actors out there that have all come from Canada. And even now to this day, there are some comedians out there that I'm sure some people may have not heard of that I didn't realize were from Canada that are fucking hilarious. I think they're huge in Canada, but not necessarily huge here in the States. Like one comedian is John Lonjoy. I'm not sure if you've heard of him.
I'm familiar with some of his stand-up.
Yeah. So, and how I came across it, he did a song called Ordinary Guy, or I think that's what it's called. You know that song I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And my brother sent me that song. He's like, this is some Canadian guy who's just rapping about being white. I was like, man, let me hear this shit. And I heard it was fucking hilarious. And I was like, I get what he's doing. That is funny to me. And of course, the biggest comedian of all time, or at this time right now, Russell Peters, who's Canadian. So, Canada, when it comes to comedy, I think is one of the absolute best in the business. Like there's something about Canadians and their sense of humor. It's just like second to none, in my opinion.
And I think that there's like a scarcity. There's like they value comedy differently as
Yeah.
both the comedian and as the audience. Like if you think about it, as a working comedian, you have to go from city to city, or at least like a larger a big town
Mhm.
to city to big town. Here, you know, let's say DC, you know, you got Baltimore 45 minutes away, an hour and a half away, you have Philly, and 2 hours away from that, you have New York, 4 hours
Mhm.
away from you have Boston. You don't have that in Canada. You've got 5 cities and they are nowhere near each other. You know, you're literally talking hours and hours of driving. So it's hard to make a living out there, but I think nobody squanders an opportunity because you can't. You can't just go, I'll just stay home and do the shows here. There may not be shows there. You
Yeah.
have to go get, you know, you have to go 5-hour drive or $100-$200 ticket to get somewhere.
Yeah, I think you actually make a really good point with that too. I mean, and that's one thing about Canada. I've always said this before, that if I were to choose a country that I could live outside the United States, Canada would definitely be my top three.
Yeah,
Because
Australia for me.
Australia would be the top for you.
Yeah,
I think so too. I have to this Canada. I'm sorry, Australia would be a place that I have to visit for me to make that decision. But it'll be a top three for me to consider.
yeah.
But Canada for sure might be my top three.
Blindly, like let's say blindly, like, hey, gun to head, where you gonna live? My safest bet is gonna be Australia, and I think that's so. Talking about the comedians and having the scarcity, I think that's why there's a lot of great Australian actors. It's because it's the same thing. It's like you can't. You've got 4 cities in the continent. You can't just go. You don't have the ability to be picky or choosy.
And 90% of the continent is like desert. So, you know.
Yeah. All of the cities are on the ocean side, because everything in the middle is gonna try to kill you. Like
it's a giant spider in the middle. So who wants to fuck with that? Yeah.
Spiders that kill alligators, that kill crocodiles, that kill kangaroos, that kill, you know. fuck all of that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but to kind of stay on Canada, here's the thing. I just realized how much how many things I admire about Canada: musicians, comedians, actors. You know, there's I mean, just a number of people that have come to admire that are all Canadians. Even shows when I was growing up, like Big Comfy Couch. I remember if you remember that show. It's a kids show. Yeah. So I grew up watching that. I had no idea it was Canadian, and I was like, this is amazing, and I loved it. So anyway, so shit like that. I mean, what else? You have
HGTV. HGTV has sold my wife on Canada. That's the only reason why we drove up there, because she's watched HGTV, which is 90% Canadian. She's like, oh, that's a really nice place. I want to go see it.
Yeah.
It's a 10-hour drive. Okay.
Yeah. I would make the drive to Canada. I would have to make some stops because I can't. If I have to go more than 4 hours, man, I have to like pull over because I can't. I don't have the endurance and patience to deal with that anymore. But Canada would be a place I would definitely make my way to go out to drive. But yeah, Canada's. I mean, you got TV shows like Corner Gas. I don't know if you ever heard of that show.
No.
It was comedian by Brent Butt. That's his actual name, Butt. I laughed too, and I was like, no, be respectful. He's Canadian. Yeah. So yeah, Canada's got a lot of good stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I lean more towards going up north, because there's so much that I respect and admire about the country, because it's given me so much in terms of like entertainment. I mean, it sounds kind of maybe a little superficial, but it's given a lot that I admire. But again, I'm looking at it from here. So maybe when I'm over there, my perception may change. But you know, I love virtually anything that's come out of Canada, because Canada has offered so many great things. One of the greatest things that Canada's ever given us is Ryan Reynolds. You know, possibly the greatest Canadian of all time, next to Russell Peters. So you know, Canada's fucking killing it, man. And you have people who are unaware of that. Canada is giving us nothing but gold.
I think the pandemic has definitely showed us that it's like so many people like us living different lives, you know, because like Australia has been One of those things where I've been watching it since the pandemic and just being like, wow, I think I could really live there. Not from the TV shows, but like the people I've interacted with and just having the conversations, TikTok. Canada, I don't think I can deal with the cold anymore. Like,
yeah, you got a point on that. I heard it gets brutal up there. I heard it really, really brutal.
The cities are cold, but I don't think I can deal with the length of time. Because I mean, shit gets cold before Thanksgiving. Shit gets cold like Halloween. So basically, you're dealing with cold from Halloween to basically Memorial Day, which they don't even have Memorial Day out there.
No, but they have Boxing Day though, so that's important.
And apparently, Boxer Day has nothing to do with boxing.
Yeah, I know. I thought it had to do with the dogs. To be honest with you, at one point, because if it has nothing to do with boxing, it has to do with the dogs. No, I was a dumbass.
I was like, oh, do just challenge random people to fist fights? Okay,
come here, you. What did you say about me? No. But yeah, man, Canada. I stuck on Canada so much because I'm obsessed with it right now. There's so much that I love about that country. But yeah. What was the initial question? Top 3 countries?
Top 10. Top 10. You go Canada, Albania.
Albania. So I said Canada, Albania. No. That's to visit. So as far as living, so Canada, New Zealand. I would say England, Scandinavia. So Scandinavia's got like 3-4 countries. So that kind of mixed up in this there for me in the top 5.
Tall blonde white women. Yes, please.
Mike, yeah. What else? Scandinavia. What other countries? I don't know about Italy, but it seems too cramped for me. But I would love to go to Spain. I think I would pick Spain as a top 10 for me. So Spain.
So Spain, there's a bunch of different Spains. There's like Barcelona and there's Madrid. Those are 2 completely different places.
But you also have like Sevilla. You have Valencia. You have Bosque. There's a Spain is like is an eclectic culture that I find so fascinating. Because you have Barcelona, which essentially is kind of in a way it's its own country because of the Catalan people.
Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
I mean, I didn't want to assume,
No. It's a fair question to ask. ¿Por qué no?
Yeah, ¿por qué no?
No, yeah. No, I speak Spanish. My Spanish is okay, but it's got to get better. But here's the thing: if I lived in a country for 2-3 months, it would be flawless at that point. Yeah. So because I can still read it, I can still write it, and I can understand. I would say 85 to 90%. The biggest thing for me is slang. That's the biggest thing that I'm not familiar with here. Even because my family's Nicaraguan, so there's new slang coming out of Nicaragua. So I had a list that a video I was watching, top 10 slangs or whatever. That was from 5 years ago, and then there's a new one that came out like a year ago. And I was like, fuck this, I'm not keeping up with that. So that's the only thing that I can't keep up with. But if I'm in the environment all the time, yeah, I'll be able to get the lingo.
So when you say, think of that the movie where like a general movie where it's like an old retired hitman or assassin or something, and he's just retired, and he goes to this little Italian city, and he just drinks coffee, read the newspaper, like that's where I want to retire, like that area, like Malta or something, where just out of the way, slow pace, drink my coffee, go live my life into the sunset. That's a part of Italy I want.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's probably like, yeah, I could see that too. I don't know about Greece, but I definitely would consider that because I've heard so many great things about the country. France, I like France a lot.
I like Paris, but not the tourist part. I liked the lifestyle of Paris. It was just very laissez-faire.
It's like magical. I heard when it comes to the description I've heard about Paris. Like there's something very like surreal about it. That's how it's been described to me.
There's a lot of different parts of Paris. There's the tourist parts where it's a shit show. It's worse than the National Mall. Like it's fucking horrific.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Like for horrific?
Tourists, pickpockets, gypsy. We don't call them gypsies. Travelers is what we call them. And it's just like
Romanis.
I don't know if that's what we're allowed to call them, but yeah, I think travelers is the right word. I don't know. Just like way too much hustle bustle for not enough reasons to it makes sense for me. But when we travel, we try to stay away from those like tourist areas. We'll see them from afar, but and just the pace was amazing, and just the people was amazing. The food was fine, like, and just the quaintness of it all was really great. Very, very romantic. There are parts of Paris that we saw that look exactly what you would think Paris would look and feel like from the movies. And then
I definitely would want to go there.
Yeah, take the wife. Take the wife.
I'm gonna propose to her at the Eiffel Tower again.
Fuck the Eiffel Tower. Stay away from the Eiffel Tower. That's the place you can see it and go, yeah, that's big. It looks like what I thought it would look like. Don't go near it. There's no point.
Yeah, I'd be scared looking at it from that low angle. I want to go to Germany, but that's something about the German mindset that really appeals to me. And I think they're really passionate about, most Germans, I would say, are passionate about football, the real football, I meant to say. So I want to be in that environment too. Like England is one. All of Europe really has that passion, but England for me is like the one that I gravitate to the most. Their passion is my level of passion as far as the love for the sport, even though I'm not that invested into it. But Germany, in my opinion, has like a certain side of it that really is like, it's like they're the loud, they're the big, they have this domineering force about them, but they're not. I don't know. There's this persona they carry about them that almost seems very mystique like, and it's something about this that attracts me about Germany, and I want to be a part of that. And then they have this mindset about creating the mechanics behind that stuff. So I hope I'm making sense, but that's something about that really appeals to me about Germany. And I heard that the people are great.
Yep.
I've met a few Germans, and I tend to believe that's true. I heard customer service is ass over there in Germany.
I believe it.
So I heard that it's awful, and I want to go there.
Yeah, I'm going to go with generally most of Europe. Customer service is lacking, with the exception of England. Its hospitality is. I feel like England, London, actually created the word hospitality. Like that is their thing. From White Glove, all of those things. Everywhere else in Europe,
I don't know. I feel like that it's like, this is just me, but if I'm going to a hotel, I don't need anyone to serve, to cater to my needs. I was like, hey, the toilet's not working. When will the plumber be coming up here? Well, when they get here, well, give me a time so I know, because I have to take a shit. I need to go. I need to know where I can go. Well, you can find. Well, I'm going to use your bathroom then. If that's how they're going to respond to me, then perfect. Then I'm going to respond that way to them. Yeah. And then I hope we get a drink afterwards.
The Germans that I know, I think fun-loving people. They like to drink. They like to have a good time, and I'm there for that. What bar do you go to? Let's go there.
My mom and my stepdad, they had gone through Europe, and they went through Germany. And I said, the only thing I asked for, I didn't ask for like, give me a memorable beer. No, like, bring me a German beer. I still have that beer to this day. I haven't opened it. It's still locked away in the fridge.
It's not any good, bro.
Huh?
It's not gonna be any good. Beer doesn't sit like the beer's not wine.
Wow. Well, whatever. I still kept it there. I did have intention to drink it, but you're right. It's been such a long time. I mean, a long time that I don't know. It's like it's that fascination about it that I'm looking at. It's like, wow, it's from Germany. It sounds so stupid, but I'm like, it's from Germany. Don't touch it, And meanwhile, it's like rotting inside. Well, I've never drank it. It's still wrapped up. So
don't do it.
I'm not.
Yeah,
maybe I will. Maybe.
Yeah, I was like, you're going to shit yourself.
Oh man, it'd be worth it. That'd be German shit. No, joking.
German Scheiße.
German Scheiße, yeah. But I still have it to this day. And I just refuse to open it because something about this, like, I can't believe I have it. I'm never touching that.
It sounds so funny silly, but could you imagine if it's just like a Bud Light out there? They're just like,
this is the best shit I've ever had. This is like Bud Light in America. I was like, even better.
It's like somebody like, oh, I got this Bud Light. I can't drink it. I'm gonna hold on to this forever. And you're like,
I should have frozen it up. I intended on drinking it, but I just didn't want to open it. Like
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm telling you is keep that same energy and just never drink it, because beer
I'm
does
gonna bring
not
the
sit
bottle
well.
back. It's like, can I get another one?
It's spoiled, and they're
Yes.
like, we haven't used this logo in 10 years.
Yes. He's like, where did you get this? He's like, oh, my stepdad brought it over here when he was here, and then brought it to America, and I said to bring it back. So
You
can we trade?
you brought back a Bud Light?
The German Bud Light, the equivalent of a Bud Light. Yeah. It shows you where how silly I can be with that.
I kind of want one of those German Steins, the big beer mugs
Yeah,
with the metal.
yeah. I want to get those too, but I want to. Here's the thing. I want. Yeah, they're the things that Germany has with something so simple as that. I don't know why I found that fascinating. Like, why didn't I think of that? Yeah. Where else was I going with here? Germany. I don't know. What are some other places you want to live? We talked about how where I want to live. Where would you want to live?
I think live. I feel like
Australia's number one.
Yeah, New Zealand is on the list. I just don't know where. I feel like New Zealand might be just a little too. I might go a little island crazy as far as like, it feels like pretty small. But I heard it's beautiful. But Vancouver. I'd probably, if anywhere in Canada I had to live, I'd probably do Vancouver. It's a little chilly, but it's more like Seattle weather, so it's just kind of wet and dreary.
Does it rain a lot? Does it rain a lot over there?
Yeah,
really. Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, it's gonna be exactly like Seattle. It's only 3-hour drive, so it's gonna be very, very comparable.
3-hour drive from Vancouver to Seattle.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So for my birthday, my wife and I, we were planning on just taking a $40 flight to Seattle and then driving from Seattle to Vancouver. My wife had never been to either one, and I haven't been to Seattle. So there's that. Let's see, where else would I live? I guess the Philippines, because that's where my wife is from. Singapore is dope.
I heard Singapore's nice. Yeah. I heard Singapore is like it's really beautiful out there.
Yeah.
I've heard about that, yeah.
Small, but immense and very, very busy.
What about Japan? Would you ever consider Japan?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's a very culture. It'd be very culture shock for me.
You don't think you'll be able to be accustomed to it?
I don't think so. There's just too much context that I don't think that I would fit in. I would be that consummate asshole at all times.
I'd be like
I'm the consummate asshole here in America.
Yeah. Your Boston accent would come out stronger there.
Yeah,
Fuck off.
Fucking hell. Really? Fucking bow? Fucking you bow. Bow you. Fuck you. Yeah, I'm the consummate asshole here. I think I would be the forever consummate asshole in Japan.
Yeah.
Korea, Seoul looks pretty dope. I don't think I could ever afford to live in Japan or Seoul, but Europe, London, I would say, one of the outskirts of London, just one of the suburbs of London, Paris, Greece, somewhere in the Mediterranean.
I can see that. Yeah.
I like south of France, not Aix-en-Provence. South of France. That's really it. Like, I like Vegas. I like where I live. I kind of can't see myself really living anywhere else, to be honest.
Outside of Vegas. And with the exception of those countries that you mentioned.
I would say, like, if shit hit the fan and for whatever reason we had to leave, that would be the list of places.
Yeah.
China is too crazy to live in, as far as like, I don't speak the language. Hong Kong is too expensive.
And they speak Cantonese over there too, if I'm mistaken,
in
right?
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And that my family is Cantonese, descendants of Cantonese. It's the little bit of Chinese that I do know is Cantonese, but I don't think I could live there. And then Portugal. Actually, I heard Portugal's freaking amazing. Lisbon.
The same too. Yeah, I heard the same thing. I don't know about the sports scene over there. I always feel like Portugal has the weakest when it came to the sports scene. It sounds so silly, but I hope no one gets pissed off whoever's Portuguese. But I don't know. It's not in my top 10. I would love to go visit, but would not to consider living there.
Yeah. I heard it was amazing. In like South America, Central and South America just seem like I don't think I'm really built to live in a third world country.
Yeah.
A, because I would stick out like a sore thumb, and B,
well, you'd be very surprised. My friend on Nicaraguans, you'd be surprised how big of a population, how big of a Chinese population there is out there.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I just don't like stick out like a sore thumb, not because of the way I look, but the way I act. Being like, what, you guys don't have the fuck you mean you don't have air conditioning? Like, I'm that asshole.
Yeah. It gets hot over there. Last time I was there, I remember I took a shower and I came out of the shower and I was covered in sweat top to bottom. And the towel that I had to grab another towel, wipe myself down, and it was drenched. It was just drenched in sweat. So much so to the point I literally went back to take another shower, and I was yelled by my uncle not to do that because, don't waste the water. I was like, I'm taking a shower. You just took one. I was like, yeah, and it's hot. Yeah. I can't stand. I need some cooler. You're gonna kill the water supply here. And I was like, holy fuck. So that was really hard to get used to, because here in America, where we are, it's like the only thing I have to be concerned about is having to pay more, but I'm able to afford it. But over there, it's
cents
like
on a dollar. Cents on a dollar.
Yeah, and it took me a while to get really acquainted with that. I didn't know. I just did not understand it because I was so Americanized. I just was so ignorant to all that stuff.
Yeah.
So being around that really gave me an understanding of being respectful of other people's things and the resources they have. So
same thing with the Philippines. Same thing. Air conditioning.
Yeah.
You go, oh, well, you know what? We'll just give you some money for the air conditioning, and the bill comes, it's $300 American dollars.
Yeah.
The air conditioning bill. And you sit there and go, $300 is literally more than a lot of people will make a month.
Yeah.
And where that assholes that just go, I mean, that's a lot. $300 a lot for electric bill, but you go, oh no, that's like 2 months salary. Oh, I'm that asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. I just yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I
never considered Central America as a place to live. I used to, not anymore. Yeah.
Like my wife and her family would not let me go anywhere by myself. And I mean anywhere. Like I stick out like a sore thumb in the Philippines, where like they would not let me go to the bathroom by myself.
Really?
Yeah. They're like, oh, they would send one of the nephews, or like, oh, go with him to the bathroom. I think it's literally like right there. Yeah. Show up in a van. Yeah, it's fucking wild.
That's crazy.
I think the Philippines is the only third world country that I could live in, because my family, my wife's family is from out there and all of that. But everything else, like I can't.
What about Thailand? For me, it's the heat.
I would get in marital problems.
Oh my god! So I'm getting a massage. See you later. No.
For $3.
Yeah. I don't think my thing is the heat. I can't stand the heat. I'm not the guy who can tolerate, extreme heat under those conditions there. So Philippines, the Thailand would not be a place for me at all. Just off of that. It looks beautiful in some of the islands that I was seeing on pictures and on films and whatnot, but I just can't. I would not last 5 minutes there.
So, I mean, I think what I experienced, at least in the Philippines, was like, if you're by the water, you're fine, because you got the ocean breeze. But once you go inland or once you go inland, that becomes like, it becomes hot, sticky, mosquito. But when you're oceanside, it's not so much of a problem.
Yeah.
But
that's why all those resorts are out there too, because they're so you're in the best spot in the entire country.
Yep.
So it would make sense over there for them to do that. And they look so gorgeous too. Like I've seen some pictures of the Philippines too, of like these really nice, beautiful resorts, and I'm like, holy Christ, this is amazing. Because I would spend $1 million to spend the night there. I mean, if I had it, of course, but it looks like it's worth the price of admission. I don't know how much it is really right now, but yeah, man, crazy how we start off with Lavalantula. Here we are talking about vacationing and moving to the Philippines.
This is kind of like Cooey and the Kid. We're just the only excuse to hang out and have this is like we're using a movie as an excuse to hang out.
Yeah.
Anyways, since you segue out of that, what else? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Off the top of my head, no. I mean, other than maybe some things we got coming down the pipeline here, because as of this recording, I know that I've got a episode for You're So Cool with Rob Medina this week. I'm hoping to get this uploaded by this week as well too, for us to for me to for an episode that I have done with the actress in Georgina Tolentino, who is also on the Show Pal show as well too, and promoting her new film No Dogs, which is a short movie that she had helped write and produce. And that was an interesting conversation. I intended to reach out to her for a specific reason, and it far exceeded my expectations. So that was a really good conversation we had, and she was actually very surprised by a little research that I'd done on her too, which kind of made her laugh. So I found that to be very fulfilling in seeing that the work that I had done on her brought a smile to her face. So I thought that was really nice to see that. So I appreciate that's how we got the conversation started. But outside of that, I've got some things right now that I can't reveal here on the show. Off air I will, but it's movies that I've got access to that I'm really excited to get into, that I want to talk about, that I'm reviewing, that are, for me, my cup of tea. And I hope other people will enjoy them as well.
Sharknado 4, Sharknado Zombie Nazis.
I'm not that lucky. No. But if it does come to fruition, I will be the first line to watch it. No. And so what else? I got that and some other interviews I've got working on the pipeline here that aren't set in stone yet, but are in the works right now. So I've got that working along the way. And outside of that, that's pretty much it there. What's on your end over there? Because I know you still got some things in the works from your side of the woods, right?
Yeah, we had this conversation before, but just been trying to keep myself healthy and sane, and just keep on working on that. You can basically follow me social media, Loy Lee Comedy, and when stuff pops up, you'll be the first to know. But you got to take care of yourself first before you can put out good content that's worth watching.
I think by the time you drop some new content, Mary, it'd be worth the wait, because I've been a fan since I came across it. So I am very hyped and looking forward to it. So whenever that would be coming down the pipeline, man, I'll be the first to watch it.
Fucking love you. What's the next movie we're gonna watch?
So since you picked a weird one, I'm gonna pick a weird one too. I haven't decided which that weird film will be, but it's gonna be a movie that I know for a fact you will not like, but I want you to endure and watch it, because I really want to know what your opinion is. I'm trying to figure out what those two movies are, because there's two that comes to mind right now.
Which are? Let's put it on wax.
Okay, so this is a film I did review, but I want to do the review again because I want to see it with somebody who may have seen it, who may have not seen it, and I want to get their opinion.
Okay.
I hope you'll watch it. I really hope you do like it. If you don't, whatever.
I mean, I'll watch it. Will I finish it? No guarantee.
That's what I'm saying. I hope you like it enough for you to finish it, and I really hope you do, because I want to have this conversation with you. I want to review Street Fighter.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. I mean, hey, I know you love this movie, but
I fucking love this movie. And I want to talk with somebody who doesn't have to have the same opinion as I do, but I want them to sit there and watch the movie. And I want to know what you think from start to finish of what you got from the movie.
I'm going to shit on your childhood.
Oh man, I welcome it. Arms wide open.
You say this now, but it's going to be a German Scheiser movie just all over your childhood. Just and we're talking about the Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julian,
the masterpiece that is Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia, directed by Stephen A. D'Souza, who also wrote the film as well too. And
so he's the one to blame.
Blame as in creating this masterpiece of a film. Absolutely, sir. Yes, he is the man in charge and responsible for that. So credit where credit's due.
Something's due, that's for sure.
So it's that movie, and then the second film, believe it or not, is another video game movie, but it's a film that I fucking hate. I mean, I hate this movie
it's
so
the same
much.
Genre. It's literally the sequel to the movie that you love so much. Continue.
No. Not the same genre, but not the same.
We're not talking Chung-Li?
No, fuck that movie. I
Okay.
thought about reviewing that movie on my own. I was like, man, no. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That was the other film.
Is that the first one? The original Mortal Kombat?
No, that's the second one. The sequel to that movie.
The
You've
one that
never
just
seen the
came out
movie?
then. The one that just came out?
No, the one that just came out is the remake or the reboot, if you will.
Oh shit! So there's 3 Mortal Kombat movies.
Yes. So you've never seen it?
No, I can't say that. I can't even say. Maybe I have seen it, and it's so bad that I have, in self-preservation, eliminated it out of my brain.
So the movie came out 97, November of 97. So if you think about it, it's like
This is the original.
That's the sequel to the original.
Okay.
Annihilation is the sequel to the original.
Okay, I got you.
We can do the review for that. We've got time, and that and we can.
Lisa Soto.
So yeah. She looks great for her age too. That movie came out in November of 97, so we can do the review in time and then have the review released in time for the anniversary.
Okay.
So since you've never seen it, I hate the movie. I don't know why people like it that do like it. I just don't see it. But it's the same for me. I love Street Fighter. I know why people don't like it, and I can understand why some people would like it. I love that movie. That's literally my top 10 of all time. That is no joke.
So we're gonna do it. Which one are we doing?
Annihilation, because you've never seen the movie.
Yeah, I can't even. I just remember the first one. That's it. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Annihilation. So we'll do it, and we'll have the review release in time of the anniversary in November. So we have time to take to. You can take long breaks. And breaks, I mean by days. Come on back, revisit the movie, finish where you left off, and then if you want to take another break, take a couple of days off, come on back to it, and then hopefully you'll remember what you saw. So in time for the review.
Okay. Well, I mean, I gave you I literally gave you the opportunity to pick a movie, and you picked a movie, and now I have to deal with that. So yeah. Okay.
You got it in you, Loy. I know you can do it. I believe in you, brother. I believe in you.
Combat. Hold on. Let's see if it's Annihilation.
Yeah, Annihilation.
Okay, I'm just looking.
Watch the trailer when we get done with this, and you'll know what you see is what you get.
And it's 1997, so I have to kind of go back into 1997 and have some context, because
I was in middle school at that time.
I was a junior in high school. Okay, but yeah, I think when I go back to these movies, it's like, oh, you gotta have to think about what was going on in 1997, and I do some research on that for context. So, okay, there it is.
Fun.
There it is. Fun. Mortal Kombat Annihilation, 1997.
Yep, and that should be a fun one to do, because there's so much that I can say about that movie that I just don't have very nice things to say about it. That's the very first film that I saw in theaters where I walked away pretty pissed off at what I saw. And I waited a long time to see that movie. Well, I didn't say a long time because they worked on it pretty quickly, but I was excited for it and walked away feeling absolutely just let down. Like it's like, I felt like I bit dumped or something. I was like, I put everything into this here, and this is what you've given me. And then they said, fuck you.
The original catfish. You got catfished by a movie.
Yeah, pretty much. It wasn't that wasn't the last time I've been catfished too. So the feeling,
I might have to watch the first one.
I think you should, just to know where this film picks up on, because that it literally picks up right after the end of the first movie.
That does sound familiar. Yeah. Okay. Well, there it is. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Next time.
Awesome. All right. Well, you've already given your social medias as far as where they can follow you. Anything else you want to add on to this here before we close off here?
I fucking love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You're cool. Yeah, you're cool.
All right. Well, I love you too, my man. And well, you can also follow me on my social media accounts, everybody. You can follow me on Instagram, Rob_Medina0585, on Twitter, Rob Medina0585, and on Facebook, Rob Medina. And the show's social media account, You're So Cool with Rob Medina. At Instagram, You're So Cool with Rob Medina, and on Twitter, You're So Cool WRM. And that is it, man. So this was actually a good one, man. I really enjoyed this this episode here. Yeah. Nothing else I can add to that, but other than thank you again for being a part of this here with me, man, because this was really a lot of fun, and I can't wait to the next one.
Hanging out with you. Fucking love hanging out with you too, man.
Love hanging out with you.
Until the next time.
Adios, everybody. Be safe out there. And cheers.
Well, I'm happy that I got called a snack today. That's not an everyday thing. Hooray.
Well, what kind of snack though? That's the big
doesn't
question.
matter. I just go in your mouth. That's amazing. Just happy to be here. Just happy to be here, people.
Oh man. All right, bro.